11 years passed after training hard. Yoon-sung went to South Korea. As soon as he left the airport, he was contacted by Jin Pyo, who told him to meet Lee Kyung-won's girlfriend. That woman was his first target to access information about Kyung-won, one of the 5 criminals involved in his father's death. Before going to South Korea, Yoon-sung had actually gone to America to study for an MIT degree. He was able to achieve this after Jin Pyo provided academic education and formal training to support Yoon-sung for the smooth running of his future missions. Yoon-sung was given a new identity as a man from Texas with the same Korean name, but his American name was changed to John Lee. Jin Pyo, who now had a narcotics business empire, had become prosperous. He was able to better facilitate his adopted. However, before Yoon-sung left, Jin Pyo advised him not to trust anyone and not to reveal his true identity to anyone, or the people around him could die.
3가지만 명심해라. 지금부터 넌 네 정체를 숨기고 전혀 다른 사람으로 살아야 한다. 아무도 믿지 말고 아무도 사랑해서는 안 된다. 네 정체가 들통나면 너와 네 주변은 핏빛으로 물들 게야.
Yoon-sung understood this. Eventually, he arrived in South Korea after completing his MIT education. Coincidentally, he met Kim Nana, the girl whose photo his friend had once shown him. At that time, Nana was selling something, but Yoon-sung didn't realize her presence. Nana was actually struggling to pay for her father's medical treatment. He had been bedridden for 10 years due to a coma, and even the doctors had asked Nana to let her father go. But Nana refused. She kept begging the doctors to save her father, no matter how much the cost would be. Nana would continue to work hard.
지금 밀린 병원비도 상당한데.
돈은 제가 어떻게든 해결해야 한다고요. 그러니까 살려만 주세요. 나 이대로는 우리 아빠 절대로 못 보내요.
10년이에요. 식물인간으로 지내신 게. 포기하세요, 그만.
One night, while Nana was working as a hired driver, she accidentally encountered Yoon-sung, who had just left a club with Kyung-won's girlfriend. Yoon-sung pretended not to recognize her, especially as he was surprised when Nana threw down a strange man who was trying to force himself on Kyung-won's girlfriend. On the way, Nana refused to take them all the way to the hotel because she was uncomfortable seeing them being affectionate. But she returned to retrieve her cell phone that had been left on the car seat. Yoon-sung refused to help Nana with her missing cell phone. After that, Nana went to the hospital because a call on her cell phone came from there, and she left her cell phone behind. Yoon-sung followed Nana and paid all the surgery costs when he found out about the problem Nana was facing. Nana promised to repay him someday and return Yoon-sung's kindness if they met again, but Yoon-sung just left.
정말 고마워요. 돈은 꼭 갚을게요. 계좌번호 좀 알려주세요.
갚지 마. 그 돈 나한테 껌값이고 뭐 불우의 오토끼 성금 조밀집 그쪽한테 내다 줄 테니까.
Nana received news that she was accepted to work as a bodyguard at the Blue House, which is the residence of the president, who at that time was Choi Young-chan. Unbeknownst to her, she would meet Yoon-sung again there, who would be joining the security team. Yoon-sung's MIT degree made it easy for him to get the job, and he was even welcomed warmly upon arrival at the Blue House.
네? 촬영합니다. 예, 알겠습니다.
이 박사 저기.
In the following days, Yoon-sung began to interact frequently with Nana, who kept insisting he give her his bank account number so she could return the money Yoon-sung used to pay for her sick father's hospital bills. During a martial arts training session, Nana defeated Yoon-sung and made him promise to give her the account number. Yoon-sung had no choice but to agree to her request. However, after thinking about Nana again, Yoon-sung remembered that he often looked at her photo while he was in the Golden Triangle. Finally, Yoon-sung asked Nana to become his personal driver for a while to pay off her debt. He wanted to get closer to Nana. Yoon-sung wanted to spend more time with Nana, especially since it turned out that Yoon-sung became the English tutor for the president's daughter, and Nana was assigned to guard the president's daughter.
이윤성 박사님? 미국에서 공부하셨으면 영어도 짱 잘하시겠네요? 제가 영어가 좀 딸리는데 과외 좀 해주세요.
조 과장님, 오시면서 업무 추진 계획 알려주시면 되죠?
그래, 가지.
뭐 저런 남자가 다 있어?
With all the distractions, Yoon-sung still prioritized his main mission, which was to kill the 5 people responsible for his father's death. His first target was Lee Kyung-wan, who now held a position as a congressman. Yoon-sung had gathered various information about him and immediately reported it to Jin Pyo. Yoon-sung actually asked why Kyung-wan was the first target, and Jin Pyo replied that he had just learned about Kyung-wan's attempt to cover up for the president, who was responsible for the safety of the 20 special operations officers. For some reason, Jin Pyo kept it a secret. Yoon-sung couldn't ask his adoptive father many questions. Meanwhile, at the prosecutor's office, Young-ju was trying to stop a corruption case involving Kyung-wan, but his superior refused to pursue the case because Kyung-wan was a very influential person, and it was feared it would cause problems for the prosecutor's office. This issue appeared in the media and was seen by Yoon-sung. Eventually, he infiltrated Kyung-wan's house when Young-ju also came there to discuss the corruption issue. Secretly, Yoon-sung planted a hacking device and eavesdropped on their conversation. Kyung-wan mentioned that Young-ju's father was his friend and was also involved in the corruption problem. In the middle of their conversation, a cell phone in a jacket pocket suddenly rang. They turned and saw Yoon-sung, who had infiltrated. At that moment, Yoon-sung turned off the house lights using a trigger and then fled.
너 누구야? 경아!
Yoon-sung took Kyung-wan's book to investigate its contents and see the extent of Kyung-wan's corruption. The next day, Nana and her friend escorted the president's daughter from school and went to a club. At the club, Yoon-sung was also there, with Kyung-wan's girlfriend, but after she told him she was no longer dating Kyung-wan, Yoon-sung looked for a way to end their relationship. Coincidentally, he met Nana in the hallway and kissed her to show the woman that Nana was his new girlfriend. After Kyung-wan's girlfriend left, Nana, who was angry about the kiss, threw Yoon-sung down. Yoon-sung then gave her a check to pay for the kiss.
대기야 철판 깔아서 아플 일도 없겠지만 치료비로 쓰시죠.
Nana didn't have time to talk any further with Yoon-sung because her friend called and told her that the president's daughter had disappeared. They frantically searched for her, but in the process, Nana met prosecutor Young-ju, who wanted to talk to Kyung-wan's girlfriend. Because Young-ju provided the president's daughter's hiding place, Nana suggested that Young-ju meet Yoon-sung to find out information from the woman. A few days later, Young-ju did meet Yoon-sung at the judo training facility at the Blue House. Unfortunately, Young-ju didn't get any information from Yoon-sung because he refused to tell him. After that, Yoon-sung immediately took Nana to the hospital because during judo training, Yoon-sung accidentally sprained Nana's leg. At the hospital, Yoon-sung unintentionally got new information related to the foundation managed by Kyung-wan when they met 2 children from the foundation. But when they wanted to investigate, the children ran away.
야, 니들 밀가루 먹지 말라는 소리 못 들었어?
Yoon-sung didn't chase after him and continued to drive Nana home to her apartment. It was a small apartment, and Yoon-sung couldn't believe Nana could endure living there. He didn't know that Nana had been struggling hard for her own life since her father fell ill and her mother died in an accident. Nana kept working so that her house wouldn't be seized by the bank, and she could still pay for her father's treatment. Unconsciously, Yoon-sung was touched by what Nana was doing, especially after they rescued 2 children who had previously run away because one of them had an allergic reaction and couldn't breathe. Nana was very kind to them.
아나팔라스트 쇼크인 것 같아요. 혈압도 70에 40, 맥박도 41에 산소 포화도도 70%밖에 안 돼요. 이게 천식이에요?
그건 잘 모르고 밀가루 알러지 있어요. 꼭 좀 부탁드려요, 선생님.
일단 걱정들 마시고 나가들 계세요.
After further investigation, it turned out that the children had never returned to the community foundation because they were ashamed of being called beggars by their friends. They had been abandoned by their father for more than 10 months, and their electricity and water had been cut off. The only way they could survive was by eating bread and ramen. Nana and Yoon-seong felt very sorry for them. Finally, the next day, they went to the service center to report the children's condition. Surprisingly, the monthly funds for the children were always handed over to the foundation, led by Kyung-won. They were supposed to claim it from there. An officer who handled the funds acted strangely when questioned, and instead accused the children of using the money for other things. Yoon-seong became suspicious and tried to provoke
이봐
him.
당신 같은 밥 먹겠어? 굶고 게임하겠어? 국민들이 세금도 많이 냈는데 왜 굶어야 되는 애들이 있는지 그 이유를 알고 싶어. 이상해 아주 많이.
아니 이 사람이 정말
어쨌든 다시 한번 확인해 주시고 시정해 주세요.
To investigate further, Yoon-seong created a false fire situation, so everyone would leave the building for evacuation. That's when he re-entered the office to gather evidence and retrieve data that was being destroyed. Upon returning home, Yoon-seong reassembled the papers until morning and discovered that funds for starving children had been embezzled. Not stopping there, Yoon-seong had hacked the phone of the worker who managed the fund transfers to Kyung-won. Thus knowing the fund transfers, he took a lot of evidence and secretly sent it to Young-ju as proof that would help him at the prosecutor's office. Although Kyung-won's defense speech later earned him the most votes to reject the issuance of an arrest warrant, Yoon-seong could not let other children starve, because greedy people like Kyung-won were still roaming free.
자, 이경환이 20년이 넘는 의정 활동을 하는 동안 문제 소지가 있는 돈은 절대로 단 한 푼도 받지 않았음을 분명하게 말씀을 드립니다. 자료를 근거로 사전 구속영장을 발부한 것은 저에 대한 표적 수사에 표본인 것입니다, 여러분.
이 위원의 신상 발언은 끝났습니다. 의원 여러분은 소신껏 체포 동의원의 가부 결정을 내려주시기 바랍니다. 이로써 이경환 의원의 체포 동의안은 부결되었음을 알려드립니다.
Since he became close to Nana, Yoon-seong has become more concerned about the world around him and more emotional compared to when he first arrived in Korea. Actually, before Yoon-seong left for Korea, Shik-jung said that if Yoon-seong ever met the woman in the photo, who was Nana, he hoped Yoon-seong would take care of and help her. That day finally came, and Yoon-seong, who missed Shik-jung, contacted the man he considered his own uncle. He talked about Nana, who was in danger of losing her house and had experienced a difficult life, but Yoon-seong still kept his promise to help Nana.
아저씨가 부탁한 나나라는 애가 그런 것 같아.
걔 사는 게 아주 어렵냐?
뭐 좀 어려운 것 같더라고.
야, 어쨌거나 네가 좀 도와줘라, 어? 정말 진짜로 부탁한다, 윤성아, 어?
A few days later, Jin-pyo was apparently going to send Shik-jung to Korea as well to help take care of Yoon-seong and make sure he wasn't lonely there. Shik-jung didn't mind, although he hoped Jin-pyo could come with him too and stop his revenge plan. But Jin-pyo's grudge was so great that it had hardened his heart. He couldn't stop his revenge plan. He felt that the lives of his friends who had been killed by those officials had to be avenged. Not long after that, Shik-jung did return. To Korea, Yoon-seong himself picked him up at the airport.
아저씨! 보고 싶었어, 아저씨.
밥 먹었냐?
That night, Yoon-seong stayed at home because of Shik-jung's presence and continued to look for the latest information about Kyung-won. He didn't come to Nana's house to help the children make flower arrangements for the public event, but Nana still informed Yoon-seong about the event via message. Yoon-seong made a plan by asking Shik-jung for help to infiltrate the building and report the situation. Nana actually came there to take the children. She met Young-ju and monitored Kyung-won during the event. Yoon-seong had already guessed why the children were called by Kyung-won. So before they were threatened to reveal his whereabouts and identity, Yoon-seong contacted him first and promised to meet Kyung-won in person.
여보세요.
지금 절 찾으시나 보죠?
네 이놈, 너 어디야?
애들 꿈자리 사납게 인상 그만 쓰시고 그만 내보내주시죠. 내 발로 들어갈 테니.
Secretly, Yoon-seong recorded all of Lee Kyung-won's words, and he showed no remorse for committing corruption. The recording was then broadcasted nationally, including on the public event screen, allowing everyone to see it. Young-ju immediately ordered his team to arrest Kyung-won before he could flee abroad. Meanwhile, Yoon-seong managed to escape after fighting off his security guards. He also thwarted Kyung-won's escape attempt at that moment by drugging him and taking him away to hand him over personally to Young-ju at the prosecutor's office. Yoon-seong trusted Young-ju more to handle it. He handed over Kyung-won in a box, bound and with 3 military dog tags around his neck, which Jin-pyo had collected as a warning that his revenge was about to begin. Actually, Shik-jung had warned Yoon-seong that Jin-pyo would definitely be angry with this action because Yoon-seong was ordered to kill. But Yoon-seong said that he didn't want those people to die quickly. They had to suffer and be destroyed first. After the action, Yoon-seong went to see Nana and invited the children to play with him. They had fun until the evening. At that moment, Yoon-seong began to realize that he was falling in love with Nana. He went to Nana's house that night, avoiding the angry Jin-pyo.
윤성이 이 녀석 대체 뭘 하자는 거야?
Since the incident of Kyung-won being sent to the prosecutor's office, the public began to notice Yoon-seong's actions. But because no one knew who Yoon-seong was, he was ultimately successful in uncovering the corruption case, and the public nicknamed him City Hunter. Upon returning from Nana's house, Yoon-seong called Jin-pyo and explained why he decided not to kill Kyung-won.
사람들이 절대 그를 용서할 수 없는 방법은 이것뿐입니다.
For the time being, Jin-pyo could tolerate not scolding Yoon-seong. Finally, Yoon-seong went home feeling more relieved, but was immediately shocked to find that Shik-jung had bought a lot of household items using his credit card. They argued, but Shik-jung won the argument and said that he bought all of it to take care of the house and cook delicious meals.
윤성아, 대한민국 진짜 천국이더라. 전화 한 통 하면 다 배달돼.
결제는 누구 카드로?
내가 있냐? 금방 들어왔는데.
아저씨 미친 거 아니야?
나도 사고 사냐? 네 해먹으려고 샀지?
아니 뭐 나한테 시집 왔어? 혼수야?
야 임마! 내가 엄마의 마음으로 해먹여야겠다는데 이게 무슨 말이 많으면
There, Shik-jung suggested that Yoon-seong meet his mother just once, but Yoon-seong immediately refused and ignored the suggestion. Okay, guys, that's the story of City Hunter Part 2. We'll continue with Part 3 in the next content. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment so you don't miss our other content.